As we've said, the New Testament took an approach to slavery which undermined its premises rather than directly attacking it. It's all well to say that the authors of the New Testament should have said something about treating humans with dignity. But what if the real problem was that slaves were regarded as less than human? Slavery in the New Testament era was justified by the powers in charge, with suppositions that slaves were in some way of a lower class than masters. This was the bad attitude that needed to be counteracted before direct commands against slavery could be effective. To that end, we find passages like these which indicate that one's identity as a slave, or as a free person, is subsumed under unity in Christ, where all are equal. To the modern reader, this may seem like no big deal. But in the first century world, these would describe a radical concept of equality under Christ, which supplanted what were previously some of the most important social distinctions of the New Testament world. In that way, they subverted and undermined the assumptions that made slavery ideologically possible. Just as subtle but even more important is the fact that in the New Testament, as one scholar puts it, terms referring to slaves or to their nature are never used in a derogatory manner. No generalizations, positive or negative, are made on the character of slaves, as was usual for Greek and Roman literature. Furthermore, it is noticeable that slaves are not to be treated in any way as second-class Christians. They are assumed to participate in the Christian life on equal footing with the free person, which is a significant departure from the conceptions of the time. A related question on this matter is, why didn't Jesus condemn slavery himself? Well, apart from what we've said in prior sections about how a direct condemnation would have been fruitless, we may add that 99.9% of the people Jesus met were poor rural peasants who could not own slaves. Had he condemned slavery, he would be condemning an institution in which nobody hearing him at the time would have been a participant. In other words, he had the wrong audience. Even so, there is one critical text that foreshadows the other texts we've highlighted. In Mark 10:44, Jesus tells his disciples that whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. As scholar Jennifer Glancy observes, the slaveholding ethos was predicated on control and honor. By calling on his followers to become slaves of all, Jesus emptied the ethos of its power. These few short words may not seem like much, and critics would probably prefer an extended discourse from Jesus or Paul giving masters a slapdown. But what the New Testament does offer is more effective than direct approaches, in light of those bad attitudes that permeated the world of the New Testament. Talk of treating slaves with human dignity wouldn't work if masters were convinced that slaves were less than human. That's how the New Testament subverted slavery from within. But some may say, what about passages like these? Don't these endorse slavery? No, not at all, and we'll talk about how that's so next time.